Hi there, everyone. My name is Christian Eschbach, and welcome to another one of my album reviews. Today, we are going to be looking at something a little bit special. Yeah. Now, if you're one of my regular viewers, you may have heard me once or twice mention I'm not into really covering greatest hits albums. But once in a while, I have to make an exception. And this greatest hits album, this anthology, if you like. Yep. You'll understand in a second. That was not said completely wrong. Thor, Ride of the Chariots, anthology. Yeah, anthology. Man, that was okay. Thor, Thor, Thor. Okay, let me get into the artwork first. Okay, that's Thor. Remember that face. Okay, I may bring that face back up here later, but remember that face. Okay, that's the front album cover. Okay, remember this too. And then you got to remember this inside as well. Okay, this is important. I know you're thinking, oh, it's just metal and it's blah 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 blah. The chick is there on purpose, and she's dressed up in that outfit on purpose. I will get to that purpose. But I'm reviewing Thor, man. Thor. All right. So let's get very serious here. Don't get too serious. If you get too serious, forget it. You're done. All right. Okay. So, once again, this is Thor, Ride of the Chariots. And it opens up with the title track, Ride of the Chariots. Now, it's campy, but it's the right campy. Because, I mean, any song that opens up with Ride, Ride, Ride of the Chariots, just man, this was the beginning of power metal right here, I'm telling you. This was definitely some overlooked early power metal. But I like this better than power metal. Well, actually, this album has everything. It's weird how many different styles of music there are on this album. But Ride of the Chariots, totally, like, I mean, it's a good tune, and honestly, it's cheesy in context of Thor. It's cheesy. But as the song itself, if you didn't realize the song was Thor necessarily, you might actually have a lot more appreciation for it. Ooh, cat fluff. Shedding season. Alright, that goes into Nights of Tomorrow. Nights of Tomorrow is actually one of the very first songs, one of the only songs on this album I flat out am not a fan of. And it's really weird. I like Flange. I like Phase. I love both of them even put together. I like using it a lot on my bass when I play bass. I love having Flange and Phase both going at the same time. You just get this great 80s-esque kind of sound. The thing is not every instrument should have that sound on it, nor like the entire song. And with Nights of Tomorrow, it's like the whole thing is just run through a flange and a phase, and it's just like, what the and it's something I like. And no, it's just done bad on this song. I'm not a fan of it. Just no. Okay, then from there we go into New York Night. Now, there is no listing of which song came out on which album at which time or anything like that, right? So I would have to check everything up online. All I know is this was definitely the early 80s. And it's Thor. Sorry. Now, New York Night, in all the good ways, reminds me almost of the Scorpions, The Zoo. I don't, in the tone, the vibe, it's just that New York vibes, that sound that was of that time, because everybody was a little hazardous of, or afraid of New York. It was a scary place to go once upon a time. And that was before 9/11. 9/11, if anything, helped make New York better. Not making light of 9/11. Sorry if it sounded that way. That was not intended. Anyways, uh, but New York Night definitely is reflective of a time that New York was. And it's a good tune. I do enjoy it. I like the dark kind of overtones to it. From there, we go into Thunderhawk. Okay. So right away, you know that every time this song comes on and myself and friends are gathered, right away we change it to something lewd and crude. Our porn star name. But there is just something about this song. It is so off kilter with the way the line Thunderhawk is given in the song. It's because it's this kind of cool sung kind of tune most of the way through, and then all of a sudden you get to this really horrible overdub. I am the Thunderhawk. Thunderhawk. I am the Thunderhawk. It just... What the... Alright. Then we go into Galaxina. This one's trippy, man. I like this one. This one's really spacey. Like, in this mix with everything else in here, it's a really totally, at this point, something completely different from everything else. It's a poor comparison, but this would be like when you're listening to the Paranoid album and all of a sudden you get to Planet Caravan, and Planet Caravan is this completely different song from every other song on Paranoid. That's how Galaxina is on here. Like, Galaxina is just this weird, ambionic, trippy, psychedelic-esque space odyssey, but all wrapped up in a minute and 49 seconds. Now, that's followed up by this kind of real heavy blues rocker, right? And this really heavy blues rocker is actually the very first song I was ever exposed to by Thor, and the song did not match the aesthetic of the band at all, because it is such a heavy blues rocker, and the song's called Dogs, and it's got this great catchy, you gotta keep the dogs at bay, you gotta keep the dogs away, it's just this great blues hook through this whole song while he's singing and whatnot. Remember when I was talking about that picture? Okay, this great blues hook, that's the picture. Just remember this, okay? And I'm talking like George Thorogood-esque blues riffs. You know what I'm talking? That, like, just not what you would have expected. And there, we go into Midnight Man. Okay, we're going to go back to this picture here. The buxom redhead. The buxom redhead goes by the name of Cherry Bomb, and she sings the song Midnight Man. That's right. Now, I got a thing for chicks that look like her. I'm not going to deny it. Alright? Not going to deny it. I have a thing for tall, buxom redheads. And I entirely blame this tall, buxom redhead for it, who warped and twisted my mind as a young child. Thank you very much. Oh. And yes, it's unrealistic, but she's a tune! Okay. Midnight Man is this fantastic song. It really is. It's not a ballad, but it's a song of yearning, you know, but not in the cliche kind of female way. Like, later on, you would be able to find variations of this through Biff Naked with songs like Spaceman, you know. And it's got that kind of vibe to it. It's a really good tune. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. After that, we're followed into Knock Them Down. Doesn't really stick. Phantoms is kind of cool. I really like what they do with it. There's something unique and different on Phantoms. They do something a little fun, it's different. Once again, it has something different, kind of a different vibe than a good chunk of the core of this album. It doesn't feel like that entire power metal vibe that a lot of the songs have, or even that metal-y vibe. Like, it does, but it doesn't. Start Raising Hell. The song is very cliche. It's what you would expect for a song called Start Raising Hell. Then we get into a couple live tracks. The first one is Gladiator. Gladiator's kind of cool. I'm surprised that they decided to throw in some live tracks. I have no experience with these songs in their original forms, really, so I don't really have an opinion one way or another as a comparison. What I will say is I do like the mixes on them to a degree, because I do like that you can hear the bass nice and clearly in there, and that's always cool to me. Megaton follows that up. Same kind of thoughts and opinions there. Megaton annoys me a little bit, though, because there's this annoying Megaton, and then you hear a little Megaton. This kind of like robotic kind of Megaton kind of voice, and it was like, yeah, I'd have to have seen maybe the stage show to get it. It just didn't work for me on this recording. It was one thing that kind of detracted on this song for me. Also, I found both those songs in general, they're not as hooky as some of the other songs on here are. Dogs, I think, would be honestly a great song live. Thunderhawk might be a cool tune live. New York Night wouldn't be a bad song live. Midnight Man I could see being fun live. Ride of the Chariots, if it's sung properly, could be great live. And then the very last song is The Door. And The Door is really kind of cool as well. Another song that's a little bit different. One thing I like about Thor is, as much as it's kind of got a lot of those cliches of metal in there, it's some of the good cliches in some ways. I mean, like, when people think of power metal, this is most definitely what they picture. This is what they picture. These are the cliches of what they picture. This is the cliches of that time period. But there was a very big sci-fi element in here too, like the limited amount of picturing we have in here. Cherry Bomb's in an astronaut outfit, a very revealing one that obviously wouldn't do anything to keep her alive in space, but I don't think they'd send anybody with that buxom of a breast up into space, If you can see the CD itself, it's got kind of that cliche heavy metal. And when I say heavy metal, I mean, as in like the comic book almost heavy metal-esque vibe. The whole way around, it's campy, it's cliche, but it's good campy and cliche, and it's something a little different. I actually wouldn't mind getting my hand on... Okay, according to the back here, it says this is a collection of lost demos and treasures. If this is not a greatest hits, and this is actually a collection of lost demos and treasures, I almost want to maybe go pick up an album from Thor, go look for a Thor album, possibly. Man, I'm gonna have to struggle with this one, man, because this was interesting. This was an experience, and it wasn't a bad experience. It was a fun experience, a cheesy experience, and I mean, I don't know if I'll listen to it regularly or often, but I'll be honest, I probably will throw it in every once in a blue moon to listen to it. Anyways, those are my opinions on this album, Thor: Ride of the Chariots, and Thorology. Anyways, you know the routine if you're one of my regulars. If not, welcome to viewing. Leave me a comment, hit subscribe, that way you get notifications. If you want, hit the like button, that'd be cool. That helps out. And otherwise, peace, love, and take care.